Hi YouTube. Today we're going to be looking at a 1911. It's a little bit different than most of the ones I've showed you. This is a Cabot Guns 1911, and we'll talk a little bit about this company here in a second, but I'm going to show you that this Cabot Gun 1911 is not loaded and it is clear. So what we have here, we have a Cabot Guns 1911. This is called the American Joe. And I've mentioned Cabot Guns before in the past, and I told you they're one of the higher end 1911 makers. Well, these folks probably pay them about the most close attention to detail of pretty much any of the 1911 makers that I previously mentioned. Most people know the four big names like Wilson Combat, Nighthawk Customs, Les Bear, and Ed Brown. Well, this, you can make the argument, is probably the fifth largest one. These Cabot Guns, and I've dealt with these people a long time. And one of the things I noticed about them is they build their guns with like aerospace technology, so the tolerances are super tight. And out of all these guns that I've handled, and I've handled a ton of them, of all these custom 1911s, these things are probably the tightest put together ones. If you pull this slide back, I'm not talking on purpose. I want you to see how smooth this thing operates. I mean, you're never going to see one that works that smooth. If you look, it pushes the little oils out. There is no gapping whatsoever in the frame the slide fit. So these things are put together extremely tight. All the barrels are flush cut, recessed. There's no sharp edges. The front checkering, I've mentioned this before about Cabot Guns, is very unique. It has what they call rhombus checkering. So this is kind of like a tread on a tire that's directional. So when you're holding this gun in your hand and it recoils, it grips your hand going up, but it's smooth going the other way. So it doesn't cut your hand up as much. It's called rhombus checkering. And just look at the attention to detail that they pay, the sharp lines between the frame and where the checkering starts. I mean, and it's got the rhombus on the back on the mainspring housing. There's just no sharp edges anywhere on this thing. It's pretty much put together perfect. But I've got another video showing a Cabot, the base model one. These things are freaking expensive. I mean, these are probably going to be the most expensive 1911s that you'll come across. What made this company famous was they, several years back, the owner of the company purchased a meteorite. You know, meteorite trades by the gram, kind of like gold and silver does, and it's very super expensive to buy it if you can find it. So he bought a meteorite rock, and they machined two matching 1911s out of meteorite, and they sold for several $1 million for the two. Now, one of the things that makes this company unique is they make what they call the mirror image 1911s, and I don't have those, but so a 1911 ejects out the right side, all the controls on a normal one. We're not talking about ones with ambi controls or anything, but all of them are usually built for right-hand shooters. So the magazine releases here, the thumb safety's right here on this side, and the slide stop is up here. We're not going to call it a slide release. This is a 1911. This is a slide stop. So the slide stop's on this side, and Cabot is the only company, to my knowledge, that makes mirror images ones. So they'll come in a case sitting like this, and there'll be another one sitting right beside it, and everything is on the opposite side for a left-hand shooter. So this ejection port would be over on this side. All your controls and everything would be on this side. It would be a left-handed gun. So you essentially got a left and a right-handed gun that they build. It's really cool. I mean, it's really expensive, but it's really cool. So one of the things that sort of kind of turns me off about them is I'm more of a shooter than a collector, and these guys really aim at making showpieces. But what people don't understand is these things really do shoot really well. I mean, they're really good shooting guns. They're just really tight, and this is one of the ones that I am going to tell you does need a little bit of a break-in period because of how tight this thing's put together. I mean, you do need to break these things in a little bit before you can eliminate all malfunctions and everything like that. But so what makes this one a little bit special, I'm going to go through a couple things. It's called the American Joe, and what Cabot, their whole spiel that they represent themselves as. This is a 100% American made gun. Everything's made in-house. All their parts, they don't outsource anything. Every single thing is made in-house. This is just like having a Rolex watch, because Rolex watches are all made in-house. They refine their own steel and gold and all that. Well, this place does the same thing. So they make all their frames and slides right there in-house. Every part on it is made in the United States. If you have ironwood grips or if you have walnut grips, they actually go and handpick the wood that's grown in the United States. Nothing comes from any foreign countries or whatsoever. Now, I'm not saying it's bad to have something that's made in a foreign country. I'm just saying this is what this company is based on. So what this engraving means on this thing. This is the American Joe. So of course they have the American flag on the grips here. And this engraving starts with the United States, and it's a tire tread pattern here representing like the automakers of the United States, peeling out as the bullet leaves the barrel. Then you have kind of like an eagle wing or something, like the bullet taking flight, and then you have a spider web that's engraved on here. And their theory, the artist that made this, and his name is Joe, and I can't remember his last name, but the artist that made this said that a spider web is usually tattooed on one's elbow, and this is the elbow of the gun of a hardworking man. And a spider web is a very complex thing that takes a lot of work to make, a lot of work to build for a spider, and that's kind of what this country was based on, is hard work and stuff like that. So it's a cool little theme, and this is really, really neat, this engraving. It looks pretty cool. But other than that, it's the same as a regular base model Cabot 1911, except for they added all this engraving, put these grips on it that have the United States flag on it. The 3 stars on the trigger, that's Cabot sling. That's just, they usually put that on all their guns. But these guns are super awesome, super customized. This company will do anything that you ask them to. It doesn't matter if you want a serial number with your name on it, or you want something written here on the side, or if you come up with something crazy that you think nobody else will do, this company will do it. Now, it will take some time for them to do something like this, but they will do it. And you are getting a top quality, top notch 1911 when you buy from this company. Just keep in mind, it takes some time and all this, but this is a company that will work with you when you come up with your own ideas. But this is just like any other high-end 1911. It's built perfect. I mean, there's absolutely nothing there's no shortcuts taken or anything like that. You get a perfect custom 1911. Now this one's a commander size. It comes with a full-length guide rod, and these are not 2-piece full-length guide rods. These are actual regular guide rods, kind of like the GI style, only it's full-length. It's got a flush cut, match-grade barrel in it. It's all made in-house, very tightly put together. Now, one of the things that makes these a little bit different than most 1911s is they use the same timing and stroke length as a full-length government model. They shorten this barrel bushing down a little bit. That's one of the ways they achieve this. But if you open this slide up, the travel length is the same as a government model. So this is sort of like shooting a full-length 1911. The trigger on this thing, as I've said about 5 million times before, 1911s don't have bad triggers. There's no such thing as a bad 1911 trigger. There's better 1911 triggers than other 1911s, but there's no bad ones. But this one is at the top tier. So I'm going to show you the trigger on this thing. If you look, there's your take up. and it's very crisp and goes off. I mean, it's just unbelievable. And here's your reset, and there's your trigger. It's just unbelievable. These things are absolutely put together with the most highest quality gunsmiths assembling them, and they do so many checks and balances on these things that, I mean, everything ends up turning out perfect on them. But anyway, folks, I wanted to show you something really different, and this is a crazy looking weapon here. I mean, this is pretty much stunning, and this would be the centerpiece of most people's collection because of the cost of it and what it looks like. But it does shoot. It shoots very well, and I've always said no matter what it is you own, you should use it. So you want to keep that in mind before you spend this kind of money on something, and this one is going to set you back a couple dollars if you were to order one of these, and it would take you a while to get it. But this is the Cabot Guns American Joe 1911, and let me know what you think about it. And thank you very much, folks, for watching my video, and you folks have a great day.